Hello, Internet. And as I'm sure you've probably heard, Xbox has raised the price of the Series S and X, and Grand Theft Auto 6, unfortunately, has been delayed. Welcome to Only Kind of Everything, and these are the two big points we are going to spend some time talking about today. We're going to lead right in with the price increase from Xbox. Now, if you have been watching the channel, you would know that a while ago we did a video talking about a potential crash of the gaming industry. I would actually say that this is another step toward that potential unfortunate outcome. I don't necessarily say that the industry is going to be in flames and in shambles, but this idea, especially this far into a console generation, with the rumblings of a next generation in 2026, 2027. And here we are with Microsoft going, this console generation is nearly done, so we're going to raise the price of these systems. I wouldn't call it an interesting move. It's kind of a frightening move, realistically, because that makes you look and go, okay, so any future generations, like what price point are we looking at to get into these things? And then furthering on that, the resale secondary market that GameStop and local game shops happen to occupy. This will be an interesting. I hate using the word interesting, but I mean, from an observer standpoint, it is interesting to see how these, shops and stores are going to react to this increase in price on these systems. The Series X is now, I believe it went up by $180 or $100. They already said that come holiday, select first-party titles are going to be $80. I know people want to point to Nintendo and be like, oh, Nintendo, look what you've done. I really think that was coming. As long as it is a fair sliding scale between what is and isn't an $80 game. Yes, paying $80 for a game sucks. Honestly, for Microsoft, it could be beneficial. It is another way to try and get people into their Game Pass ecosystem, because, the average consumer is going to look and go, well, I can spend, $60 for 6 months or whatever it is, play that game, and then I have all these other games that I can play too. So in a way, that is, it's a nice strategy to make the Game Pass look better. I still don't know if I agree with the Game Pass, but as the price of games get higher, Game Pass does become more and more of a lucrative place or a lucrative system to be a part of. Now, it would not surprise me if the price of Game Pass were to go up as well. We'll see how that goes. And I hope that I'm wrong with this. I want to cover this as fairly as I can. I don't want to get into a political piece with this, because, there is a lot of potential possibility of, political issues coming up with the talk of raised prices and such. Hopefully this all works out well in the end, and we don't end up in a situation where, games become too expensive and it prices the general player out. That's something I talked about in the last video when I referenced a potential crash of the gaming industry. The idea that, potentially the casual consumer that basically helps support the industry is going to get priced out of it. But I don't want to ramble too much on that because we have another topic to ramble about, and that is, as this title suggests, and as I've mentioned in the opening, Grand Theft Auto 6 has been delayed. Now, I'm not going to verbatim read this memo from Rockstar that was released a couple hours ago as of recording. But the long and the short of it is Grand Theft Auto has been delayed till May 26th of 2026. So given that this is early May when I'm recording this, we have, again, we don't exactly know what the release date for this game would have been originally, but what we do know is that we are now officially, again, there is no guarantee this doesn't get pushed again, but we are officially about 12 months out, the bulk of 12 months. So what does that mean for this year? Because I think that's the bigger talking point right now, is what does this potentially mean for the rest of 2025? I'm going to honestly say that there are probably some games and developers that were hesitant to release spring, summer of 2025 because of the looming threat that was Grand Theft Auto 6. This is a game that everybody has or will play at some point. It's just that kind of game. So what Grand Theft Auto 5 was an everybody gets into it game. I would assume that there are some games that may have pushed their release date back, maybe just internally, because they did not want to deal with the, Grand Theft Auto 6 effectively hoovering up the market of every player on planet Earth. Now that Grand Theft Auto 6 is releasing next year, that leaves a very large Grand Theft Auto hole in the spring and summer release calendar. Now, that being said, spring and summer have always traditionally been slow release season. You do have the Switch 2 coming out, so that's going to be something for a spring summer release. But obviously, Switch 2 is a console, and it's going to be Nintendo exclusive stuff that is driving the market. I would say that we might see some games pop up. We might see a flurry of releases. Hey, here's a trailer, and we're coming out in 2 months. Personally, I like the idea of of announcement trailer, lots of hype, and then a very short turnaround waiting period. It gives you stay within that hype window. You don't have to worry about the hype dying down and then having to re-hype people for your game and release. So, I mean, I don't think that the spring I think is probably set in terms of what's releasing. Late summer, early fall is potentially where we see some shifts. We might see some stuff that was going to be fall pushed back a little bit, maybe into the more spring area, summer time frame. Hopefully, next year around this time, Rockstar does not push the game back again, but we have a clear picture of what's going to be coming out in that time frame. So I'm not going to ramble too much about this. I've kind of thrown my 2 cents on that out there. But what is your 2 cents? Are you concerned about the price increase for the Xbox and potentially even the PlayStation 5? I know that's been a rumor. Are you upset that GTA 6 has been pushed back a year? Do you not care that GTA 6 has been pushed back? Do you think there's anything that might get that early release now that it's not going to be there? Let me know in the comments, and I will see all of you in the next video. Bye!